Why are you late? Why are you late?
I was playing on X and telling everybody what I got yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, that's very important.
She's late.
I was playing on X and it was wonderful. And I got to brag about what we got.
Being late is gay.
Can I show what we got? We actually have a decent amount of people in
Okay,
already this
good.
morning. So we can say some good mornings when it is
Good morning, goeiemorgen. I think we are live. We should be live. It's always a question.
Hopefully we're live. Maybe we're live.
I don't know how to check if we are live everywhere, except go onto the actual apps and check if we are live.
Maybe there's smarter people than us who know how to work said, tech.
I don't know. The little light is on and it says it's live, but that doesn't tell me. Technology.
Sorry.
I don't know what that means, but anyway.
When Copium tells you you're live,
okay,
you're live now.
Live.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
We have a few people to say hi to. We've got Marcus, of course. Good morning.
Morning.
Anyone. It's supposed to be everyone. Marcus, anyone.
Good morning.
I noticed he did that a few times. Exclamation.
Yes.
With his coffee. How's your mug?
Yes.
You like your mug?
Yes.
I like my mug.
I've been
Cheers
downing the coffee. Yes,
good morning, Frogman.
Frogman.
Flying Flower. Hello,
good morning.
My good
morning.
friend. And Jimma.
Good morning, Jim.
Jimma. Something came in the mail yesterday.
Yes. Where is that? Grab it.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
Say hello to We Are the Show as well. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Happy you're in. And then, of course, Copium.
Yes.
I like me some Copium.
So this stuff looks very nice.
It's magic.
I like the color.
I love the color. I cannot get over the color. It is gorgeous. So this, okay, it's kind of hard to see. There we go. Let me move my hand. It's got such a nice consistency. Spreading this on everything is going to be incredible. We should be making our children scones right now, but maybe I just scoop it out of the jar and eat it myself. I don't know.
So, hey, Jody, good morning. Good morning. So, we have what?
Why do you guys go live when I am pooping? How would you know we're live otherwise?
Yes, and why do you poop when we are live? Pick a bit of time, man.
Golly.
Yes, wake up like half an hour earlier and then run and do your business. I want to, okay, so there's not much information, but again, proven. So, the same AI on my phone and on my computer. Exact same question, different answers. So I thought, we've done a whole bunch of history, and I thought, what a good, I think a good breakdown would be, to kind of see, when, how, and why the actual war started, with a little bit more detail into the Revolutionary War. But there's quite a lot, so I think we're going to split it over 2 days, and we'll do 1 day today, because otherwise we're just talking history, and we don't talk. So
no, we got to banter.
So kind of prelude, leading up to the point where Washington was picked as leader supreme of the
I think it's going to be interesting.
Of the karate guys.
I'm excited.
Yes. So I thought, all right, we'll do that, and with some detail, and then tomorrow we'll finish up. And then next week, I think the first one we'll do is Articles of Confederation, so that we kind of complete that bit. What
your ears were lowered?
My ears were definitely lowered. Absolutely.
I think you look nice.
I lifted my scalp. I now have a high head.
I think it looks very nice.
Yeah, my beard is actually longer than my hair now.
Oh. That's true.
Yes.
I like his beard, though. I like him. What can I say?
Yes,
I am partial.
I am lucky.
You are.
Yes.
You are. Jody says his is very nice. And we didn't actually say what this is. This is rhubarb jelly. So I shared this on our social medias yesterday.
Yes.
I cannot wait to start. We haven't even opened it yet. I actually wanted to keep it sealed for today because, Jim, I couldn't find you on any of the socials. So if you're out there, I didn't know what your tag was, but thank you.
Yes. Very nice. All right.
But you do your thing. Sorry.
All right. So, when you go through these things, there's obviously a lot of interpretations and, people's different perspectives. And so it's a little difficult to nail down the exact information, because a lot of people put their kind of spin into it, so there's kind of bias and opinion. So I tried to get the basics down, just so we can kind of get an idea of where things started and why what happened, which I think is a good thing, because I think it's good that America kind of separated, and I think it would have eventually happened, just because I think Britain was probably at their peak with American colonies, and they were going over their peak, so things were getting a little hard. So from what I can conclude and everything, and this is a little gross but yet interesting. I didn't actually write it in here, but I will
Share
yes.
copiums in. We need
So
gross.
1776, King George II dies,
Okay.
and he dies on his toilet because of a ruptured artery.
Copium, listen.
So do not squeeze too hard, apparently.
Oh my gosh, I
Yes.
did not know that.
Yes, so he died on his toilet
Wow.
because of a ruptured artery. So he basically bled out on his toilet.
Oh,
That's the detail. I didn't delve into that any further, because
I
I thought
wouldn't. That's enough.
that is not a good way to go.
That's
You
enough.
know, especially if you're royalty and you try and keep a facade. It's like, well, just died while having a crap, and something popped, and that was the end of the king. It's like, well, he was 76. I mean, it's not like he was a young guy,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
those
pretty
days, yeah,
good.
those
That's
days, it's
real-
probably a pretty decent
They
age.
didn't die in their 40s like they said.
Yes.
70s. That's good.
But he was 76. So his 22-year-old grandson then took the throne, which was George III. The colonies celebrated the new king because they were all incorporated under the new king, and but war came with France. Now you see, this is where things get a little weird, because the thing said the war came with France in 1768, but it didn't. It came in 1754. Yes. So and I'm not that familiar with the history. So it says 1768, but it's not. It's 1764 to 1763, 9 years.
54.
Sorry, 54 to 63, 9 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So during this war, that's the French basically came down from Canada. That's where
Uh-huh.
French Canada was. So they came
Yeah.
down, and they
Yes,
started
yeah.
building like settlements and stuff in Ohio. And the Brits didn't like it, because Brits said, like, this side is theirs, so fucking clash. And then they had the war, okay, but the colonists obviously fought with the Brits, but the Brits sent a lot of troops and beat back the French. And even during the war, the colonists would not stand together as a unity. They would fight together, but they wanted to be individuals. And from what I understand is the colonists, so Virginians would call themselves Virginians.
Yeah.
New Yorkers would say they're New Yorkers. Pennsylvanians
Yes,
said they're
yes.
Pennsylvanians, but they were all subject to the crown. So they were all Brits,
Yeah.
or seen as Brits. Okay, never called themselves Americans. They Americans was never a word. Don't you want to go pause that little?
I
back
will.
in
It's
thing?
very loud.
Yes, I know. I don't know why it's running, but anyway. So Americans never called themselves Americans. They were always subject to the crown, and they were just living in America. So pretty much Brits, and there were Scots and Brits, or Scots, English. They didn't really mention Irish, but there were Germans, there were Dutch, and from what I can understand is the German and Dutch settled Pennsylvania, New York, and they were more traders. Funny enough, because Dutch are normally farmers, but anyway. But they were very much traders. The New England were fishermen building ships and stuff like that. So everybody kind of had their trade specialty, and they were trading, and a lot of stuff got exported. And so Benjamin Franklin called for a joining of the colonies during this time. Okay, and for them to basically said band together or die, and all the colonies rejected the proposal. They basically stated they would rather face the French alone than band together and share power during the French and Indian Wars. So that was interesting. All right, so war was won. Everything kind of settled down. Everybody was carrying on. Okay, and but now you have a problem. Okay, because firstly, the colonists had a very high standard of living comparatively to everybody else across, like England, Europe, and that. They had some of the highest income in the world in the colonies. were the lowest taxes.
Okay.
Yes. So, and then a lot of the kind of Southerners
Yeah.
were almost kind of like aristocrats.
Okay.
So the Northerners didn't really like the Southerners because they
Yes.
said they're lazy aristocrats, and then
Yeah.
the Southerners were like, hey, the Northerners just want to interfere in everything, like go do your own thing, leave us alone. So there was some kind of infighting between them, but just kind of arguments, just people insulting each other. Because they have like a perception of the
Yes.
other people being different, And I guess because the Southerners were more kind of big farmers, plantations, and things like that, and that's where a lot of the slaves were in the South, doing the farming and things like that. So after the war, the UK debt skyrocketed to 122 million pounds. And when you type fast, so I put LB instead of a pound sign. I should have put a hash,
No, LB is correct.
Yeah, so 122 million pounds. And the interest, just the interest on the money per year was 4 million pounds, which was more than the colonies were paying in taxes.
Okay.
And like all the money that they collected. So in the British mind, the French Indian War was fought to keep the Americans free.
Yes.
But the Americans were not paying even the interest on the debt they incurred to fight the war, to keep the colonies free. So the Brits were like, well, the British Parliament was like, now you must pay, and then the Americans were like, well, we're not being represented. Why are you charging us taxes? Yep. So I get the perspective from both sides, and this is kind of what I'm picking up. So England was in shit because they had too much debt after the war, but the war was fought to keep America free.
Yes.
So basically, so the British Parliament decided that the colonies must pay taxes, and these policies after the French and India War fueled colonial resistance and desire for self-rule, basically, in a nutshell. So in 1767, okay, so they hold on. Prior to this, and I think it was 1765 or something, they put in the Stamp Act.
Yes.
Okay, and then everybody got pissed, and they were like, nope. They were actually like tarring and feathering people, and like just getting really upset with the Brits. So they retracted. The British Parliament was very surprised that the Americans revolted against the taxes. So they retracted the tax, but they put legislation in place that says that they can tax Americans anytime, or the colonies, anytime. And then in 1767, the Townshend Act apparently was passed, which was a tax on glass, paper, paint, tea. And then the colonists revolted, which led to the Boston Massacre. So that's how that ties back in. So the Boston Massacre. So these guys, the tax collectors, were basically attacked by the mob, and they were like, "Fuck you guys, we're not paying your taxes," and they were fighting with the mob, and that's when the firing came up.
Where's the mob today?
Yes, there's no mob today.
Come on.
No, everybody's too scared,
Fight back. Let me just catch up a minute on.
Well, let me finish this part, and then you can catch up. So the mob, the colonists revolted, and that's where the Boston Massacre came from. There was like 5 people dead and 8 injured and stuff like that, which is now what's used as propaganda. But I mean, it did happen, so it wasn't propaganda. It was
real.
Done. Yes. Paul Revere made a painting of it that depicted it very badly. Like it looked very aggressive, and like people are like fucked up and shit like that. So the painting apparently fueled a lot of revolt against the Brits.
Yes.
So, and then so they repealed all the taxes because of that incident. So they repealed all the taxes except the tea act, the tea tax. But the tea tax actually lowered the price of tea, but it wasn't about the price. That's what I said the last time. It wasn't about the price. It was about the fact that there are taxes. And that's what the Americans didn't like, or the colonies at that time. So so that whole thing led to the Boston Tea Party, where they dumped the tea out. So all the tea was dumped into the harbor, and that led to the 1774 Intolerable Acts, which shut down Massachusetts. Yes. Okay, but what happened was, the UK government thought that the colonies would not band together because they didn't band together in the original French-Indian Wars. Yes. They would not stand together. Then they turned around and they all rallied in support of Massachusetts, which led to the first Congressional Congress in 1775.
Okay.
Interesting. All right.
Yes. Yes. Now
You want to read that, and I'll go see
You
why
wanna
we
go
have a
find out what's going
meltdown
on?
outside.
We do have a couple rumble rants. I'm not sure if I'm going to read the second one, but I will definitely read the first one before you are out of earshot. Mitch is still alive. We're going to party with him on his cocaine yacht when he gets out of the hospital. I don't know if he even got to understand that. Sorry, we have screaming kids outside. There's a young man who does not sleep well, and I get the benefit of being woken up all night when he does not sleep well. Those 2-year-olds, they're a little difficult when they're starting to learn to talk, and so many gears turning in the brains. Love it though, wouldn't trade it for the world. It's just a hard mom doesn't get to sleep time. Did you hear about Mitch's cocaine?
Mitch's cocaine? I did not.
Okay, I didn't think you did. I was trying to read that before you were out of earshot. Mitch is still alive, but we're going to party with him on his cocaine yacht when he gets out of the hospital.
Ah, okay.
Yes, just so
Weekend
you know.
at Mitch's.
That is not that far off. Wow, I did not expect Bernie to come back in Mitch form.
Yes.
Jamal, even if he dies, it won't stop him from finishing his term. That's so horrible.
Ben Dykes actually was saying that the Republicans in Kentucky very quietly passed a law that states that if a representative is unable to finish his term after the 3rd of August, his position will come up for re-election in the main November elections. If he is unable to finish his term prior to that, it triggers a special election. So Ben's theory is they are holding it back till after the 3rd of August so they don't have to trigger a special election because they ousted Massey, and Massey might actually fuck them up a little bit because of that. That's Ben's theory. It makes sense to me. So
no. I gotta go help the young man. I'll just catch up real quick. Progman, good morning. He said, I heard Lindsey Graham will be bringing some Rent Boys.
Oh,
stop it, guys.
Ladybird.
All right. We got a bunch of nonsense on here. Copium, I hope you are enjoying your cup of nossi. I don't need to know about what it does to your body. It's still very good things for your body. Just saying. Thank you for the rants, though. All right, I gotta help a young man. Oh.
Hi, Pooh. Okay, Pooh boy. All right, so basically, with the shutting down of Massachusetts, because the Brits said they will punish Massachusetts until they comply. So the colonies rallied to their support, and that's where the first Congressional Congress was actually sent to decide how they're going to deal with this. All right. So April 1775, the British General Thomas Gage received orders from, I think probably from the UK to march on Concord and seize a apparent weapons stockpile. So there was rumor that there's a weapons stockpile in Concord. Now, from what I've seen or from what I've read is some say there was no weapons because none were found. Some say that they were warned and the weapons were moved. So there's various or varying stories, but the fact remains that the Brits never found anything. So the Brits marched on Concord, okay? But of course they were being watched because as most of the history that I can read and listen to says, nobody actually knew that the war already started at this point. So there was already war. And just as a matter of interest, except for this being a war between America and the UK, it was also a civil war because inside of the US, those loyal to the UK or to the crown was fighting with the Brits against their fellow colonialists. So it was both a civil and a revolutionary war. So it was quite hard. And like I said yesterday, William Franklin Benjamin Franklin's son, was siding with the crown. So him and his dad stopped speaking at that point, and he moved to England. Like their relationship broke because of this. So it was hard times, and a father against son, brother against brother, family against family. So there was a lot of stuff going on here, and they basically sorry, the why what, okay, Mr. Grabbing the wire. You want to show people your haircut?
You want to show your haircut off?
All right. So we both had our ears lowered. Say good morning. Say hi. Okay, bye. Okay, take it outside. Go eat it. All right, you're going to go around the back. So the Brits marched on Concord, and Paul Revere, who was the same guy that did the painting on the Boston Massacre, rode out and warned everybody about the Brits coming. So militia formed in Lexington, and there were 77 men who were not supposed to, nothing was supposed to happen. They were just supposed to show force, all right? But there were 77 militiamen in Lexington and 700 Brits. And there was a face-off. And nobody knows who fired the first shot, but it's named the shot that was heard around the world. And the Brits opened fire on the farmers. And the militia fired back and then ran, and then 8 militiamen were dead. But this triggered like a whole sequence of events, and militia poured in because they marched, the Brits marched 7 miles on into Concord, where they basically searched the town and burnt supplies. I don't want to say ransacked because I guess it's the wrong wording, but they pretty much searched through the whole town and then they burnt supplies. And then the word that was spread was that the Brits are burning down Concord. So 400 militiamen gathered and waited for them at the North Bridge of Concord. And when they marched back, they got attacked. And it was, let me just see, the Brits fired first and the militia. Yes, so that's right. The Brits came to the bridge, saw the militia, fired first on the militia because they're like, well, fuck you guys, we're gonna just bend your chassis because we already kicked your ass in Lexington. And then the militia fired back, and then the Brits started running and retreating to Boston. It was 16 miles from the bridge to Boston, and they call it the 16 miles of hell, with more militia joining. And by the night time when the Brits reached Boston, there were 75 Brits dead. So that was pretty much the kickoff to the whole thing. So yeah, you want to catch up on chat? That was that. So that's 10 times, man. That's like I can almost smell the the gunpowder.
No, and you have to remember those times there's no quick communication. So the shot heard around the world. I know we mentioned it before. They had about 6 months.
Yes.
Before information got to the king, and then retribution would be back to the colonists. So that's dangerous.
Yeah. So you got to move like very quickly.
Yes, which is why they acted the way they acted. I mean, it's shit or get off the pot. Is that a term? Copium, is that your term today? Sorry, couldn't help myself. Seth, good morning to you. Glad to have you in. You got another Rumble rant saying we should manifest Destiny Canada, so we can formally put an end to the Revolutionary War.
Yes.
I cannot speak today. I cannot read today, apparently. Sorry about that. But yes, we've just not too much in chat. Some states' governor can appoint a new representative, is what Jody's heard.
Okay.
That's interesting. And Canada is made up of those traitors' ancestors.
Yes,
it is.
That's what we discussed.
We
I
didn't
think
know
yesterday.
that, but now you know.
A lot of the colonists, Americans, that opposed the independence of America actually fled to Canada, and some went to England.
That's probably why there's a lot of disdain for
Yes,
some, you know,
yes.
or from some, because
Yes.
I'm sure, like the family stories you've heard for how many generations,
Yes.
like you do not speak English, you do not do
Yes.
what, you know,
Yes,
the
yes,
English
yes.
do, because there was quite another
Yes.
war, you know.
Yes. So yeah, a lot of them. You're right. A lot of them actually went to Canada
Yeah.
because Canada was still under British rule.
Yes.
Because the Brits
Yeah.
beat the French and took over Canada.
It's
basically.
fascinating. I'm sure if Carney raised taxes on molasses, sugar, and tea, then the Canadians would willingly rise up and take back their country. Just kidding. They're
Yes.
a bunch of
Women.
women. There we go. Woman.
Yes, second.
What
I'll
a
be right back.
what a much better word.
Yes.
Canada is such a tragedy. Hell of all the Western world is a tragedy at this point, but I always loved the ruggedness of our northern neighbors up there in Canada. Seeing get shit sucks. Sorry. Cannot read that either. It's true. I've always thought of Canada being very rough people. I mean, it's not an easy climate. There are very big animals up there that you may have to deal with, because remember, it's cold and they also don't want to die. So if you have heat sources and foods and different things, they'll come and you will see them. I saw something about a moose a few times, and I'm not sure if it was Canada or northern United States, but they are very aggressive. The bulls specifically, which, I mean, obviously testosterone does a lot. We should have turned south at Texas and taken everything down to Panama. You know, I think if we haven't covered it, Anton and I spoke about it. The United States is like the only empire that has not continued to take places.
Yes.
You know, when you go, you spoke about it with our son.
Yes.
They have allowed the countries to rebuild themselves and help them with it and paid for a lot of it,
Yep.
versus conquering and then staking claim over the area like we did the moon.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I had to add that in. All right, we are good.
All right. So that was so we got the kind of prelude, causes, why it started, and we got the start of it, which is Lexington and Concord. All right. So with the Brits running back to Boston, all right, of course, this fueled some confidence. So militia men started pouring into Boston and surrounded the city. And within a couple of weeks, there was like 15,000 men, all farmers, blacksmiths, and shopkeepers around Boston. Unfortunately, supplies and ammo was very limited. So, you know, it wasn't an army, although it was forming into an army. It wasn't actually an army yet. So, you know, nobody was probably thinking of any of the logistics and stuff like that, where, you know, the Brits had a lot of experience fighting and knew how to stock, you know, their ammo, stock their supplies, and do everything necessary to actually run a military successfully, which, you know, there was a lot of lack of experience. Well, there was no real leader. It was just militia. So they're just like, all right, let's go fight these guys. But nobody, and of course, you know, with the division of the colonies, of course, nobody wanted to listen to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they all kind of, you know, kind of little gangs on their own, but with a common goal of beating the Brits back. So over 15,000 men, all farmers, blacksmiths, and shopkeepers, with limited supplies and ammo, kind of surrounded Boston. And then the Brits were sending in more soldiers, so they were arriving by the day, more and more and more and more. And this basically led to to Bunker Hill, and the militia was on top of this hill, and the Brits stormed it. And what now? What is wrong? Like, we're not getting anything uninterrupted. Okay, my son doesn't want to speak. So anyway, so Bunker Hill kicked off. That was in June 1775. So the Brits charged the hill 3 times. The militia beat them back twice and then ran out of ammo. So if the militia had the ammo, the war would have been a lot shorter. Yes. So basically, the Brits attack this hill, which was a stupid thing to do because when you don't have the high ground, you should like not do that shit. But anyway, so the Brits attacked the hill 3 times. The militia held them and held them twice. The third time, the only reason the militia ran was because they ran out of ammo. They didn't have any more bullets to shoot at the Brits. And it ended up with the Brits being over 1,000 dead with only 450 Americans, which proved that the Americans could fight and would fight and would fight back.
No matter what,
and
pretty
yes, so for a trained army to suffer a defeat like that against pretty much farmers, all right, that gave the Americans a lot of confidence, and it really showed the Brits that they're going to have a fight on their hands. Now, I can just imagine if they didn't run out of ammo and they pretty much, got the Brits to retreat or not retreat, give up, or do they call it? Like wave the white flag, surrender. Maybe that would have been the end.
Yeah,
that might have been the end. Like nobody dead, no more dead. Like that's it. And okay, let's talk.
Yes.
But
So we did hear about ammunition the other day, and I want to say it was Patriot Mike who had that discussion on his show, just stating to people which calibers are readily available and which ones are not.
Yes.
So maybe that is very useful information this day and age, like it was that day and age, which I know this is a different story.
I think it was Mike. He said 9mm is available. 22 is available.
Those are the most prominent. There was one other one, but 45? No.
Yeah, 40, 45, and something else, like shortages.
Like shortages, big
That's
shortages.
Interesting.
So I'm not sure what the story was on that. I actually may want to go back and find out more about it and what he was saying. But that was valuable information because that's good to know if anything were to have a need for that.
There might be a limit on ammo to reduce risk.
Fair. Fair.
So
Fair.
Because people are not too happy.
No.
You want to rechat?
I sure can.
Continue, yeah.
We do have some people throwing in some very good points in here.
Yeah.
We've got, doesn't the Canadian population live within 5 miles of the U.S. border anyways? Just saying. So
for people that oppose the U.S., they're very dependent on the U.S.,
Yes. It's interesting, isn't it? And Flying Flower, she says, a cow female moose is very protective if she has young around her. No, those are very aggressive
and
animals.
those are big dudes.
So I mentioned watching the bull and what it did to a home. So, Canada, there's some risky stuff out there. These guys are not all of them are the Trudeaus of the world. They're actually,
but it's the cities. And the cities dictate what the people in the country must do.
But the real people, they're tough people. Like it's the people we've spoken to, it's not an easy life. And it's like
-50 for most of the year. It's like, I can't do it.
How many of our guys have said if you stay outside for like 30 seconds, you're going to be gone? Like
you
gotta move.
Your eyeballs like freeze.
You got to move and you got to get in and you got to get around a fire. No, it's
not
no
my thing,
joke.
Man. I can't do that.
We Are the Show says, our flag, our moon, Greenland, you're next. You're welcome.
Yes.
I love it.
It would probably be good for Greenland.
Jamal, I love this statement and it is spot on. We dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They rebuilt. Detroit turned socialist. They didn't. Socialism is more dangerous than bombs.
Correct. Atomic bombs, the nuclear bombs. Yes.
So sad.
So on that subject, okay, carry on.
Sorry, Andy Pearson, good morning. Glad you are in with us. Yes, for modern times, ammunition readily available, and that should be stocked up is 22, 9mm, and 308. Thank you. That was the other one. It was a 308 and 12 gauge for the shotgun. Yes.
Yes.
And they.
So, opinions. What do you think of a 410 shotgun for like snakes and just little things that you want to get rid of?
If we can't get the.
No, the 410s will be plenty. There'll be plenty. 410s are 410s plenty. But I just, I'm not that experienced with guns. What do you think of a 410? I like because it's small. I like it.
Yes.
But maybe it's just nonsense. I don't know.
You tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us more. Let's go.
All right. So, what do I want to say? Oh, before I finish it up, so the US actually, after the Second World War, where it emerged as the dominant superpower in the world, pretty much with a weapon nobody else has, could handpick any or all countries it wanted and just take them.
Mm-hmm.
And the US never did.
Never did.
The US, in fact, went back and helped rebuild Germany and Japan and a lot of places with a lot of money and assistance and things like that. And I don't know if that is why there are still troops stationed in a lot of those places, because they would probably have done that through the military, like the engineering corps or whatever. They've rebuilt, and it might just be legacy, troops from way back when we were rebuilding. So I'm not sure, because there's a lot of troops stationed, and I know Germany's got a lot of troops in it, and it might be because of the legacy. But what happens is, no. So I don't know how many of you guys have ever been expats. Now, I'm supposedly an expat, yeah, but in my mind, an expat is someone that, and I looked up the definition, and it wasn't what I thought. I always thought an expat someone that works outside of his country to like take expertise and stuff to another country with a plan of returning to his original host country or his original country of origin. So his country is literally a host country for him to go do stuff or her to go do stuff, but it's not. It's actually someone that works outside of their country of origin. That's actually an expat.
That's it. So not leaving to move to, just works outside of their
Well,
country.
works and lives outside of the country of origin.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, that's a little boring, but okay.
That is boring.
Yes,
Okay.
I thought it was someone that's planning on returning. That's why
Yeah.
it's an expat. Because I mean, for me, if you kind of moved somewhere,
You become a part of that.
you become an immigrant, not an expat. But anyway, I digress.
Let's fly my
Yes.
flag.
So what happens a lot of times with expats is you get some benefits if you go to another country, because normally it's lesser skilled countries that require higher skilled people.
Yeah.
So because you have higher skill levels, you there's some benefits. You normally get a pretty nice place to live, and there are things that you get, because you're expat. Now I wonder if that wasn't the case with the Americans going to war-torn Europe. So there were benefits. People lived a little better, and now just kind of continued from there. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people don't want to go back.
Yes.
Because they're getting benefits.
Yes.
They're getting a better life than they would equivalent in their own country. So I'm not saying that they couldn't earn that elsewhere. I'm just saying in their country. So if we're all engineers here and we're all Americans, and an American goes to Uganda, he's going to have a significantly better life there, albeit less security, more danger, but better quality of life in his compound. So you'll have someone that cleans your house, you have a gardener, and you have a expensive car and security and shit like that, which you won't have here.
Yes.
Because you're just an American, but there you're an expat.
Yes.
If it makes sense.
Jody does state the U.S. didn't need to take Germany. We just took the people we wanted. And they would have a better life here
well, that's
than
the thing.
they
They
would
had a
have
better,
in Germany,
they had a
because
better life here.
their abilities and knowledge base was recognized by the Americans, which is why they came here.
Well, the other thing is also we took them, but I mean, it's not like we were dragging them out of there kicking and screaming. I'm sure they came willingly.
Well, I mean, there were some ruins at that time in Germany. It was not pretty at that time, like really not pretty. If we think about what the effects
Well, that's
were.
the other thing I said the other day is how much war pushes technology, but how much war was pushed for technology.
Yes. Continue
All right.
on.
Then we had the formation after Bunker Hill and everything else of the Second Congressional Congress that met in Philadelphia, and they needed to pick a leader for the army. So now there's war and there's an army of farmers and blacksmiths, and so these guys need a leader, and they need to be formed into an army. And apparently John Hancock from Massachusetts wanted the command for himself.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't know that. So that's a fact that came out. And there were apparently many other ambitious men. So a lot of people were jockeying for this position. and they, so they met, but there was a lot of guys. What they say basically is ambitious men were jockeying for the position. It was a known fact that John Hancock specifically wanted the command.
Okay.
And then John Adams stood up and spoke, and he proposed Washington, but he didn't name him.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did is he said, there's a very well respected gentleman with experience that we need to lead the army. So he did a whole speech, never mentioned Washington, but everybody knew exactly who he was talking about, and Washington was there. And then they basically appointed him.
Okay.
And asked him, didn't appoint, they asked him if he would do it, and he accepted the command. But in his statement, when he accepted it, he said that this command is a lot, it's a lot higher than what he himself is actually able to do. So he did not, he was not a narcissist, basically. He was like,
he was humble.
Thank you very much for allowing me to take this position, although this position is a lot harder and more important than what I am.
Okay.
So I will do my best to serve you as best I can.
Very interesting.
Yes. And then he was now the leader of the army.
Okay.
And that's where I thought we will cut this off, because that gives us enough time to have some discussion and things like that. Because after this, it's all the battles and all the, like there's a lot of shit that happened after this. So
be ready for a lot of
battles
information.
Yes, tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, Jody does state with the Germans, it was come here or die.
Well, yeah. It's like.
But they may have anyways, because it was not in good state at that point.
Well, the thing is, so apparently Germany had a lot of. Sure. Germany had a lot of aircraft technology, which was about to be released.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were already working on jet engines and stuff, and then the US basically grabbed that technology from them by grabbing the people. So so there were new advances being made in air technology, which apparently they say if the war carried on a little longer and Germany had an opportunity, it would have been a very different scene, because they had a lot of technology that was on the cusp of being completed and released. And they also say that the German tanks, I believe, were way superior to the American tanks. So it was very hard for the American tanks to fight and compete with the German tanks. That is the one thing I will give the Germans, man. The engineering that those guys are able to do is just fucking mind-blowing compared to basically anybody else.
Sorry.
Breaking down the
You got me excited talking about tanks and stuff.
The technology, I think, from the German engineers are way superior to anything else in the world. Now, that said, with the invasion in Europe, we will see how long that lasts, because a civilization is only as good as their population. So we'll see what happens with that. Let me code that. You read chat, and then I can respond.
No issue. I got it all ready for you. How about them apples?
Yes.
I had to do some washing. There's always washing. Hey, 17 George. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Glad to have you in. Germany had a crazy amount of scientific talent and the machinist engineering talent to back it up. That is spot on, Sith. Jody, they had rocket tech that we want to start.
At Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and stuff like that. That Germans build.
Yes, exactly. Copium, they got the tech from aliens.
Yes.
I thought it was the lizard people. Are they lizard people or are they aliens? I'm confused. I can't keep up.
As long as they're not illegal.
No, as long as you don't call them illegal. Jody has to tell me to throw it down. Nobody cares. I know. It slipped out of my hands. Sorry. Gloves, water, soap. Slippery. What can I say? I did. I popped on the gloves. How about that one? No, we have really found all of this information fascinating with the Revolutionary War, and the traders thing shocked me yesterday. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I didn't expect. Why am I blanking on his name?
William Franklin. Yes.
Franklin, Benjamin Franklin's son, to be one of the traders. I guess now looking on this side trader, when in essence we were the traders technically to the English. So it's so fascinating.
Yes.
Andy Pearson, lizard people are aliens. There we go. There we go. And copium.
Lizard people.
Lizard. I suppose it's all about the emphasis on the syllable. Copium, I don't remember. I think the Nazis got it from the Nordics.
The what?
Nazis got it from the Nordics.
What, the technology?
Probably.
I don't know. All I know is they were working on all kinds of stuff, and at that time they had propeller engines, and I know rumor has it that the Germans were working on jet engine technology, which would have basically given them the initial kind of jet fighters like we have now. So they would have gotten those jet fighters with the jet engines, which would have like dwarfed any of the planes that we had at the time. So all the planes were propeller engines, and they actually had jet engine technology that they were working on. That's what I heard. How true it is, I don't know. And if you will ever find out the truth, I don't know.
Don't worry. Copium does clarify. Nordics means aliens.
Oh, Nordics means
lizard
aliens.
people.
Lizard people.
He also.
So here's a question for you.
Yes.
Those lizard people, do they require sunlight and heat to move properly? Or if it's cold, then they can't move. So because then we just need to cool shit down, and then the lizard people are helpless because lizards kind of freeze or move slow when it's cold. And then
that's why you have AC in your house, right?
Well, yeah, and then also maybe the climate guys are right. We should cool the earth. We shouldn't have it warm. Global warming is the problem because it's going to activate those alien lizard people and make them fast, and then we can't fight them.
Are we conspiratorial now?
Well, I thought, seeing that all of us are talking shit, I might as well join in.
Oh, man. 17 George does say, I'm with Anton on that, as long as they aren't illegals. So make this make sense. You enter a country without permission, without documentation, and then the authorities who take you and try to take you back are the ones at fault because you haven't done anything. I am tad confused.
There's some Mexican girl that was born in the US. So she's a US citizen, not a Mexican citizen. Moved to Mexico and got deported.
Because she's not Mexican.
Yes, and she was like blown away. Like, why are you deporting me? I'm Mexican. I'm like, no, you're American. You weren't born in Mexico. You don't have Mexican citizenship. Fuck off. Out. And she's like full on Mexican. Her parents are Mexican. So, anyway, I don't know. Nothing fucking makes sense anymore. Just, can people not understand? Like, I don't know how you don't understand this shit. Anyway.
I digress. Man, it is rough, though. And if I see another, American person harmed because of people who should not be here, and the politicians not held responsible for that.
You know what blew my mind yesterday?
I don't understand.
Whose show was it on? I want to say it was Ben, but I don't think it was Ben. Maybe it was Branca. So there's it looks like it's a Asian. I don't want to say Chinese, but I think Chinese. But anyway, this dude was living in Tim Walt's land.
Yes, you talked about him.
This guy raped a 10-year-old girl. Was in the country legally. Raped a 10-year-old girl. Pled guilty to the charges. Got a deportation order. Was pardoned by Waltz and has been living without a fucking day of jail time in the US since 2004 after pleading, like I don't understand that. And then when Mr. Waltz was running for VP, this shit didn't even come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like that dude shouldn't be deported. He should be removed from polite society
Yes.
permanently.
And what year was this?
2004.
2004.
20 fucking years.
22
This
years
guy was
he's
living
been
in the
here.
US after, and you know, this is not, he wasn't accused of. He
Found guilty.
pled
Pled guilty. Found
He
guilty.
pled guilty, and citing cultural differences, i.e., marrying a 12-year-old. And this is what I don't understand, because he said marrying a 12-year-old is normal in his culture. Yes, but she was 10, and you fucking raped her.
Yes.
Living not a day in prison. I'm like, I don't
Jody, can we
fucking
please
understand.
make gallows great again?
Dude,
Please.
I don't want to build a gallows. Everybody's got guns. Firing squad.
Yeah.
Firing squad,
We
fucking
need more
the end.
trees anyways.
Yes, firing squad, the
Golly.
end. Just
They've
fucking
been killing the
6
jungle,
guys, 10
so let's
guys,
just make some more
shoot him,
trees.
fucking,
plants.
and just wherever it is, just dig a fucking trench behind him, shoot him, push him in the trench, and just cover it.
And then plant a
the
tree.
fucking end.
And
yeah,
I
plant
want
a
more
tree.
trees. I want more
Yeah.
plants, okay? It'd be beautiful to have more plants in this area. Wasn't his name Sim Ting Wong?
Yeah, something wrong. It was some fucking. I don't want to say Chinese, but it was someone from that side of the world. Very that just blew my mind. I cannot understand. Like the guy wasn't even in prison.
Yes.
He never spent a day in fucking jail. What do you say to the family of that kid?
Yes. And that kid's ruined for life. Like
Yes.
ruined for life. It's over.
Oh
It's
man.
over. And then we wonder why we have mental health crisis and different things.
But I mean, how did that never come out till now? I don't understand.
Because Waltz has a very big rug and a very big broom, and everything goes under the rug.
Yes, but I mean, even
I don't understand
the mainstream media doesn't report on things like this. But there has to be like I speak from the perspective of a normal person, I guess, because communists have no scruples.
Mm-mm.
They will do whatever is necessary to push their agenda, no matter who gets hurt. It's very disheartening. But anyway,
It's
Whew.
Laos, Laos.
Yes, I think that's the guy.
Yeah. No,
I just look. Do not expect to walk around a long time. You pull that shit on my family.
no.
I'm sorry.
It's horrible, and I don't care who you are, where you come from. Children are not for you.
Yes.
Okay,
You keep-
it's
I
done.
I literally do not
Done.
care who does what behind the bedroom doors, but you leave the fucking kids alone.
Yes.
Kids are off limits, like off limits. That's why
the
we
thing-
homeschool, because man, teachers.
No, it doesn't stop there. There are no sleepovers. There are not people coming and sleeping with us. It's not a thing because, yes, my trust is broken in society, and I will protect them by all means possible.
Yeah. Our kids don't go sleep at people's houses.
No.
People's kids don't come sleep at our house. You come, you play, you go home.
Yes.
We have fun, and then it's over.
No. It's
We don't do those things, man.
to protect your children and actually keep them away from that lovely infestation in which we found ourselves in society right now should be highest priority. And it is not easy. We are seen as crazy people for constantly ensuring that they're safe. But it's like, do you understand the precedence of what's going on? And what happened? What do most 5-year-olds already know? What have they seen already? I mean, if you guys
Exactly.
know the statistics of what is available on the phones or any device possible, the prevalence of behaviors, adult enacted behaviors getting in the hands of children is so high.
Certain things only have to happen once. Only has to happen once, and you can never take it back.
Yep.
So, good morning, Cam.
Yes, did you see his comment?
I didn't. I just saw Cam.
Okay. Pinochet, if I'm pronouncing that correctly,
Yes,
had a few
Pinochet.
Pinochet had a few things right. Helicopter rights for pedos.
Yes.
Yes, and Jody, because Democrats are the devil's spawn.
Oh.
It's very interesting. We did hear, I think it was Jim Tells All in his show last night. They were talking about the Republican Party and how it started, which it was not blacks like he mentioned, it's actually white. But it was to push back against the lovely Democrats who had all the slaves.
Yep.
Because the Republicans had no slaves. There was no swap. There was no
So
change.
just on that point, we'll see. I had such a laugh at these guys last night. Jim Tells All yesterday night's show was very funny. They were just doing like silly things. So it was. I had a good laugh at them. They were very funny. So he was on with Davey, Simply Davey,
and the other gentleman, what's his name?
Simpai from Off Label podcast. So that was funny. It was just a lot of fun. So I told them if they do this again next week, I'll join them in the podcast and we could just basically talk nonsense. So we'll see if that happens, and I'll keep you guys updated because I might be on Jim Tells All show next week Friday, maybe
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night, and I think it'll probably be from like 5 or 6 Central, something like that. And I'll spend a couple of hours there. We can just talk some nonsense.
He has a running thing. It's $100 for an extra hour. So you guys come in and you help him out. He'll continue on.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's funny.
So Senpai, his wife is apparently bigger than him. So his wife has picked him up on a show before, and everybody said it was hilarious. So I dared them for some monetary amount if they could do that, and then the wife picked him up.
I think she got annoyed with him for that. I think she gave him
yes.
Why you make me do that?
Yes.
She, that was funny.
Yes,
that
it was
funny.
very fun. It was a lot of fun. So I said, if they want to do that again, I'll join them because it was good fun. I really laughed. Yeah. So so I might be on there. We'll keep you guys posted. All right.
I'm not going to lie, we have found a really neat network of people, and we're trying to get on more, at least get him on more. Anton, of course, is a social butterfly, whomever said that yesterday.
Yeah, social butterfly.
But it's true. We've made a lot of connections, have a lot of people that we really care for, so it's really cool to build those relationships further. And we're not alone. Jody, I chuckled when I saw your post the other day, OTC Smokehouse, about a group for you and the people who care about you.
You're right.
Why not? That is such a good idea to build those relationships, build that community. It's hard enough in our lovely world, and what you guys just said, 17 George, is spot on. We cannot all live separate lives and then expect to make any changes. Unfortunately, what happened in the prelude to the United States is not very different from what's happening right now. Every state is different and doesn't want to do the same thing. Every person, neighbor, city, anything, no matter how close you are to the people, it's nobody wants to band together to make a life better for each other. And it's hard, but what 17 George said here is because of how bad they have made it, kids can't grow up like we did in the 70s, 80s, and most of the 90s. And that's spot on. Shoot, most places you can't even be outside or, ride a bicycle, do silly things that kids should be able to do. That is one of the biggest blessings for us getting out of the city, is the ability for our children to thrive outside, under the sunlight, not getting skin cancer because they don't eat shit food.
Sorry, we are jumping off the tables and stuff again.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, that sounds right. I didn't even hear it.
Because we're going to hear a scream from a young man when he tries it and falls on his head,
Yes, there is a small, I don't know. I think the in and out, the kids have let him in, and he's a nonsense.
Yes.
He's a small one. Is it time for the tip in 2 minutes?
Not yet. In 2 minutes.
Okay, in 2 minutes. Victoria had that awesome idea. Yes, otrsmokehouse.com. There you go. Thank you for sharing. One of the core problems is that they push the women out of the household to get a career. But Seth, why would they not? Because if the women are working and taxed, then that's more money in the government's pocket.
Exactly.
How in the world we didn't realize, that's the stupidest thing. Sorry.
No, you double your tax base, you double your tax income.
Yes. And the government is obviously a business. They're there for money, right?
Well, the other thing is, if the women are out of the house, now you suddenly open a whole new market, which is daycare and, childcare and all kinds of other stuff for the children because, and then also remember schools now, suddenly, you can't homeschool because you have to work. So now you must just put your kids in. I mean, where is it that they actually have the kids? Well, I mean, here it's basically from 6 months, but, or 6 weeks, I think. That kids are.
Daycares do that. But that's because,
6 weeks,
you get 6 weeks off and then you got to go back to work.
Yeah. So when
right back.
when people say well, we should fight for more maternity leave. No, no, women should just not have to work, all right, and then kids can be, looked after with their moms instead of ending up in daycare. Because the joke is half the time the if you take the clothing, the car, the time, the cost of the daycare, half the time women end up making what they spend on all of that. But they also get taxed, so the taxes go to the government. So 9 out of 10 times that is a break-even equation. But people don't even equate it because women have been so propagandized and I don't want to say childcare, but bringing up children has been so devalued. It's like, well, why do you want to raise your kids? Just get some cheap person to do it and go add value to the world. Put your intelligence. No, bring up your kids. That is the single most important thing you can do is to raise your kids.
Even I chuckle. I was brought up in the mindset, you're a woman, you're worth more than sitting at home. You should go to college and you should get a degree and you should go get an awesome job. And it's funny, family wise, they were all very happy when I was a nurse manager. What happened when I left that and I decided to push a family business and make sure that we could keep our kids at home?
Yes.
How did that go down?
Very disappointing.
Like a ton of bricks.
Yep.
Everyone, thinks, why would you give up your career? Why would you give up all of this opportunity? Because it was for nothing. Because I didn't even know my own kids. Okay, that was a hard realization when 2019 we had our awesome child number 3, and I realized the first 2 I didn't know very well because I worked too much.
Yeah, yes. I spent most of the time with
him. But he did for years, yes. And I was not as involved because I was working and I had to go, continue my education and do courses on the side because that's a requirement in the hospitals. Which was
so I built the property we sold. Yes. I built that out, and I had the kids with me.
Yes.
So they were running around with me. I was building the property. I extended our home. I built out this business, the beginning of that.
With the kids
in tow. So I spent all the time with the kids.
Yes.
And she was at the hospital working and then studying because, to get the promotion, you have to get the next degree. And until 2019 when we decided, okay, that fucking ends now.
I chuckle when I really think about it because I don't know how much.
In 2 minutes, Jody.
The tip in 2 minutes. How much Anton wanted me to pull back, but in seeing what
my wife
he
not
did.
Checking the temperature on the.
Did you change it again?
I don't remember. Oh, I did yesterday because it was still a little cold, but the pastry was cooked. Okay. I'll actually make it a little higher.
Okay, you keep messing with me. No, I didn't check. I just turned it on.
Yes.
No, you were very nervous when I had left that position, but I said, I don't care. Pull everything, put it all in, because I didn't want to continue that life. That was not. What is the term? That was not fulfilling for me as a woman. I did much better with my kids, and still to this day.
Well,
with
the
them
thing
and with
is, where the decision came from is when she went on maternity leave. Because kids being born, which was November, and then November, December, we spent together in January, and then we were like, yeah, we don't want to break this.
Yeah. I would have gone back in February, but instead of going back, I did let them know in January at some point, and then I collected all of my belongings on my birthday, February 14th, 2020. And then what happened?
Yes,
COVID
March.
happened. It's perfect. It was perfect. Best decision ever, which totally put the stamp on it.
Well, at the time, we didn't know because things were so much in the air. But here we are.
Very good. Jamal, I grew up in a small town. We were kicked out of the house after breakfast and not allowed back until the streetlights came on. We're not far from that with the kids. They do complain sometimes it's a little hot in the afternoon. Fine, maybe you stay inside some. But we are always encouraging them outside. Granted, it's not a city and there are not neighbors and they're not leaving our property. But still, there's plenty of space to roam, which is exactly what children should be doing.
Yes.
They should be exploring. Just watch for snakes and watch for spiders. Golly, the amount of...
scorpion.
Oh, and scorpions. But no, we got, what are those...
What, Black Widows?
Black Widows out the wazoo. So you turn things over, probably
you
Black
watch your
Widow.
fingers.
Wear gloves. Wear gloves.
Yeah.
Doubled the taxes for the government. government, however
Yes,
you want to say that,
exactly.
and destroyed the nuclear family. That was the
Yes,
goal.
that was the whole goal. I want to see if I can find that thing with a queer theory or whatever.
Yes.
Which
we will have to share that.
yeah, which they basically said, I think it was I can't remember when exactly, but it was a guy in Belgium, and what he says is you destroy the kids. So once you get your hands on the kids, you destroy their gender identity, which basically makes them perfect for grooming.
Mhm.
And then what you do is you drive a wedge between them and their family. So you split the young and the old by teaching the young by destroying the gender identity, and then teaching them that like some, what did the guy say, some tree tree green stupid identity that doesn't exist. But when the guy goes, or when the kid goes home and it's like, mom, I am now identified as, and the mom's like, and then they're like, well, you're just old, you don't know things.
Mhm.
And then drives a wedge in, which then opens them up to grooming.
Yes.
So that's why they do it, and that's why our kids are not in school.
Kopi and Poppies, the problem is modern women tend to not be wife material, so they have to have childcare because no one in their right mind would wife them up. And that's training. This is all training.
That's the thing, it's propagandized.
Yes. Sith, our job as men is to provide so that the women can rear the children. Women literally have the most important role in society, and it's just completely trashed by the commies. It's sick. But we also push for that because, women must vote. Which movie was it? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Which movie is that?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Is it Mary Poppins?
Mary Poppins. So, Mary Poppins. Never watched this movie in my life. Thought the kids and I in December were watching snippets of movies together, and I thought maybe this would be a fun one to try because I've said the statement or the word numerous times because the kids chuckle. It's hard to say, that kind of thing. And then when I actually tried to watch it with them, scene two is 1940s or 50s. I cannot remember. And the woman comes in with a sash and stating that she's pushing for women's rights to vote and how stupid men are. I'm like, I can't let my kids watch this propaganda. It was literal propaganda. And the fact that nobody's picked up on that, I've never heard that from anybody else, but I watch it and I saw it, immediately identified what was going on. I told the kids, I'm sorry, you can't watch this. They didn't quite understand, but I told them, she just said men are stupid. And I looked to my older son, obviously my younger son doesn't understand. I was like, you're not stupid. You're a man. You are different in the fact that your goal is to provide. And that's exactly what I went on, is this, I can't have you guys watch this because this is made up nonsense. So I thought it was going to be fun, but we're going to turn it off. So I'm sorry, not something we're watching.
Yep.
Feminism was created by folks that wanted those extra workers. That's correct, 17 George. Flying flower, career ladder to family destruction. Oh, that's heavy and true. Jamal, Rachel Wilson talks about women in careers. Have your kids in your 20s and start your career in your 40s after they're grown. It's not that difficult. Like, you've got plenty of time afterwards. But at the same time, when you do that as well, then who helps your kids with their kids? So then we completely,
but that's still an option. You know what I'm saying? That's still an option,
But the fact that nobody helps each other, like there's no family involvement,
Yes.
the grandparents are not there, like nobody's there because everybody's working. That's a horrible
Yeah, but
lifestyle.
also a lot of what we're experiencing now is like the grandparents are not there because they don't want to be there.
Exactly. That is another issue.
You
The
know?
woman that was the poster child for feminism was the wife of one of the billionaires at the time. Of course, that's how it always goes. When you have money, you can do anything. We should start a network of death camps to send commies to.
Yes.
I think we need to turn off YouTube.
Yes.
All right, YouTube.
See you later.
If you would like the extended version of this podcast, please come over to Rumble on Rustic Ranch, and you can see the rest.
Yes, we need to change the name. So this is YouTube.